everybody, and welcome back to another episode of That Adventure Life. I am Dustin.
And I'm V.
And we are coming to you today from Chiricahua National Monument. It's our first time here, and as you can see, look out there. Gorgeous.
Yeah, the drive here is beautiful.
Amazing.
Amazing. Amazing.
Amazing.
So this first trails, we're actually going to do everything in the big loop, but we're going to break down the trails in different video for you guys. So if you just want to do a section of it, you can do it. So the first section that we're going to do is the inspiration point. So you will be hiking from Echo Canyon, the start of Echo Canyon, and then you're going to go that way to inspiration point. Since I was doing the whole loop thing, I totally forgot to map out the distance just to get to inspiration point. So we're gonna have Dustin.
We'll put it right in here.
Yeah, so that's my bad. So Dustin's gonna do the voiceover for that with more detail later. So this is just the first sections of the big loop that we will be going to do. You can just go there and then do your way. Go back. Apparently, inspiration point is very beautiful, especially during sunset. We won't be there during sunset, but we'll show you how beautiful it is. So that is your inspiration point. So
some might have even said that it was slightly inspirational.
Very inspirational. I will see you on the trail.
This trail is fairly easy to follow. There are only a couple of forks, the first of which is just 1/10 of a mile into the hike.
We're at the first junction, which is you barely got back here from the trailhead. It is, so pretty much it's this direction. So for inspiration point, you would need to go this way toward Masai Point, and then from there we're going to connect over to the 𝐻𝐿 Trail, and then go from there.
This trail starts off nice and easy, and the first mile of it is downhill. But save your energy, because over the course of the hike you will be gaining 1,043 feet. Evidently horses are allowed on this trail. We didn't actually see any while we were there, but we saw evidence that they exist. If you encounter any, be sure to give them the right of way. The trail eventually curves off to the right, and this is where you'll get your first look at these massive rock formations. This is just a warm-up though. There are only a couple here, and soon you'll be surrounded by hundreds.
Shortly after the first junction, we're coming up to another one. This is more of a three-way. So if you go straight, that will take you to Masai Point Overlook. We're not going that way. Obviously, the back way is the way you came from. And then if we go right this way, this way, and follow the 𝐻𝐿 Trail, this will actually take us to all the places that we want to go. Inspiration points, Heart of Rocks, Loop. There's multiple viewpoints along the way, and then it's gonna help us complete the big loop. So, right.
This is when you're going to start to get deeper into the hoodoos. After rounding this large boulder, you should start to get some glimpses of Masai Point up on the left. If you have time while you're visiting the monument, you should definitely check that spot out too, because it is beautiful. As you walk along these hoodoos, you can't help but wonder how they were formed. Well, you're in luck, I have the condensed version for you. These rhyolite pinnacles are the result of a cataclysmic volcanic eruption that happened about 27 million years ago. The eruption spewed ash and molten debris at supersonic speeds and formed a nearly 12-mile wide caldera. As the ash and debris fell back to Earth, it settled and compacted, and this created a rock known as rhyolite tuff. But as tough as this rock is, it has fissured and eroded over time, leaving these massive pillars that you see today. We are now heading straight towards an area known as Totem Canyon. The name definitely makes sense because it is absolutely packed with hoodoos. And this is also the canyon that you will be gazing out over when you're up on top of Inspiration Point. We are now at the 1 mile mark of the hike, and after curving off to the right, we will find ourselves at yet another junction.
About 0.6, maybe 0.5 miles or half a mile from that little junction that we saw, the second junction, you get to this little beautiful staircase here, and then you come to another junction. If you're going left here, this is where we want to go. Let's go on left, so along the staircase this way. That would take us to Inspiration Point, to 𝐷𝐿𝐼, and then to complete the big loop. If you go right, you will go over to complete the Echo Canyon trails, which we're not doing that today or ever, maybe. We'll see how it feels. But we're gonna go this way, to the left, okay? Left.
This is unfortunately where that nice downhill is going to come to an end, and you have a pretty long climb ahead of you. In fact, you're going to be climbing consistently for the next 1.2 miles. It's not incredibly steep, but it is relentless. On the bright side though, there is a ton of beautiful scenery on this part of the trail, so if you need a good excuse to take a break, you have one. And trust me, we took plenty of breaks. The air is a little bit thin up here because we are at right around 6,800 feet above sea level. When you mix the thinness of the air and the steepness of the hill, you have the reason why we voice over our videos. Because otherwise, you would just be listening to me breathe heavily right now. This part of the hike is actually called the Mushroom Rock Trail, and with good reason. Because after climbing for quite a ways, you're going to see a rock formation called Mushroom Rock. This is an incredibly precarious rock formation that definitely lives up to its name.
According to Strava, Mushroom Rock is right around 1.5 miles into the hike. See it? Right up there. We are definitely not making progress very fast because the trail is so beautiful. We keep stopping to take pictures, and because sloth hiking team.
I hate to break it to you, but after leaving Mushroom Rock, you're still only about halfway up this climb. It would be really interesting to visit Chiricahua National Monument during the rainy season because there were several spots that looked like they might be waterfalls. This could make the trail a little bit tricky in spots, but I bet it would be gorgeous. One of those spots you can see right here, and the trail runs directly across it. After crossing the stream, you will be about 0.4 of a mile to the final junction, which will take you to Inspiration Point. As we continued to climb, we came to an area that looked like it was unfortunately ravaged by fire.
Unless there is a false top hiding behind these mountains, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot more climbing that we can do. But we have been fooled before, and if there is another peak behind these mountains, shame on you, Mother Nature. Shame.
Luckily for us, there was not another false top, and soon we were at the junction for Inspiration Point. You need to make a right turn here, and you will be only 0.5 mile from the end of the trail. The good thing is that after climbing just a tiny bit more, the trail is going to flatten out or even be a tiny bit downhill on the way to Inspiration Point. Along the way, the view will start to open up on your right side, and you'll get a small glimpse into the geology that makes this place so special. Chiricahua National Monument is one of several sky islands in southeastern Arizona. If you've never heard the term Sky Island before, it refers to a mountain range that rises up out of the surrounding deserts, like sea cliffs rising up out of the sea. And it is an impressive one. Chiricahua Peak is the tallest peak in the monument, and it comes in with an elevation of 9,795 feet above sea level. And with that, it sits about 6,000 feet above the surrounding Sulphur Spring Valley.
We're just steps away. I don't know about you. The inspiration is building.
I'm feeling very inspired. Very inspired.
And I can definitely say, I think this place earns its name. All right, you ready?
It's very beautiful. It's insane. Like it's so crazy.
The interesting thing about how this sky island is set up is that it covers such a wide range of elevations that the weather here can be vastly different. At the lower elevations, they'll tend to get hot summers and mild winters. And at the higher elevations, they get mild summers and frigid winters. So it very well could be raining and snowing here at the same time, depending on what elevation you're at. There are so many amazing photo ops up here. The only thing that you need to be careful of is that for some reason our entire visit to the monument was incredibly windy. Vi ended up having to take off her hat because it almost blew off a cliff a couple of times. I was just glad that she didn't end up almost blowing off the cliff. This was by far one of our favorite viewpoints. If you have a fear of heights, this spot's not for you. But from here you get almost 360-degree views of the hoodoos in the valley below. It's at this point that you have a pretty big decision to make. Are you going to do this hike as an out and back trail, or are you going to continue on and turn this into the Big Loop Trail? A lot of your decision will probably depend on how much daylight you have left, because the Big Loop Trail is 8 miles long and it takes a while to complete. The good thing is that if you watch our next couple videos, you can get a good idea of if you think it's worth it or not.
All right, and that brings us back to the Junction. If you want to do this as an out and back trail, you will be making a left here to head back the way that we came. If you're looking to do bigger loops, and like we're going to be doing here, you're going to be making a right here to continue on. But that is going to wrap it up for this video. Stay tuned for next week, and we will have part 2, where we are continuing on.